Hey, welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle, you sound a little different over there.
Yeah, well, we've got some distance between us.
It's actually not that far. It's only like what, maybe 20 minutes,
Yeah, 2025. Hour and
as
a
we've
half
talked
with
about.
traffic.
Yeah, exactly. 20 minutes normally, 5 minutes by the crow flies, 20 minutes normally, 17 hours by Florida traffic.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately.
Occasionally, we can't make the schedules align and get together, but here we are. We
It's
are
usually
together
around this
digitally.
time of year.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it's either this time of year or it's like summer travels, and we need to get
Yeah,
some episodes going, but we just can't make it work out schedule wise.
and there we are.
I decided today that we're going to do a little bit of a brewery day, so we've been kind of like doing some brewery hopping. What
Good
have you been
on you.
doing today?
Uh, I've been playing nurse.
Florence Nightingale, Kyle,
That's right.
how's that going?
Oh no, it's fine. One of my kids had the old wisdom teeth removed the other day, so we're on full alert. Keeping the the pain medication going and the ice packs a flowing.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's no fun.
You've had your wisdom teeth removed?
Yeah, I think when I was in middle school, probably like 7th or 8th grade.
Wow, I haven't had my wisdom teeth removed. I am wise.
Wow, keeping all
I
your
know.
wisdom. I mean, I understand. You want to keep as maximized as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like the wisdom is dwindling just in general. So as much as I can keep it going, I wanted to be there. You know what I mean?
That's a good call. Good call.
I
I'm
appreciate
from
that.
Alabama. We don't really like we don't
ain't,
worry too much about that.
ain't no wisdom in Alabama.
We don't have too high of a standard for that kind of a thing.
When you got your wisdom teeth removed, do they just like take you down to the holler and, with a rusty wooden spoon and pluck them out?
I mean, yeah. I mean, my dad did it. Like, got a rusty set of pliers, popped them out.
Here's some
Nothing
whiskey,
to
boy.
it.
Just hold on. We're gonna get you straight. We're gonna get you settled.
Don't you worry about it.
Speaking of not worry about it, what are you drinking over there?
Well, I mean, you said you were brewery hopping, so I went and got. I still got some Oktoberfests left from the Oktoberfest episode that we did. Whether that's
Oh
come out or
yeah.
not, I don't know. But yeah, I've got a couple of the one from Good People,
Oh yeah, that was
the
a favorite.
Oktoberfest Prost.
Yeah, with the dachshund on it, the double
Yeah,
decocted dachshund.
that's the one.
Open it.
Dog skin, dick, dog. What?
That felt good.
What? And you said you were drinking an Oktoberfest too, right?
Yeah, I am. So right now we are. I don't know exactly where we are, like in terms of location. I don't know what this location's called anymore because we're in a part of Central Florida that like is up and coming, if you will. Like things are being built around us. Like literally right
Yeah.
there. Like there's some dude swinging a hammer right over there. He's right there swinging a
Holy
hammer.
moly!
Yeah, I know.
What's he doing with that hammer?
So I'm at the New York Beer Project right now, and I am sipping on their Oktoberfest. It's called Prost, as you'd expect.
Incredible.
How's that Dachshund beer going?
I think on its own, it's a great Oktoberfest. Like I think we might have dogged on it a bit in the
Buns.
lineup, but I think on its own, it's a pretty great little Oktoberfest.
Well, I think we did, yes, because it was against. First of all, like whenever you do a lineup of any kind of beer, it's it becomes like what stands out, and so you're
Sure.
getting, in that Oktoberfest lineup, you're getting stuff that's like, wait a second, that's either really Oktoberfest or, something off with that thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's either spot on or that's not really what I want. This one's better.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I remember like that was one that we both really liked out of that lineup.
Was it? I couldn't remember which ones were the better of the random ones that we had.
Yeah,
Like it was just the Sam Adams stood out so much.
yeah. No,
It's kind of hard to remember what anything else was.
it was the one from Good People. Like that was the one that was like, oh, cool. Like that is a solid good Oktoberfest.
Yeah, totally.
And I gotta say, the one that I'm drinking here from New York Beer Project is as well like that right combination of bitter and malty sweetness, but not like incredibly super heavy malt. Yeah, it's solid. It's solid.
Yeah, the few times that I've been there, like I've honestly like I've enjoyed the things that I've had there. Pretty nice place.
Yeah, it is a really nice place. There's a truck going by, so I'm gonna stop for a second. Oh, really? You're gonna stop right there? Oh, there's stop sign.
Really?
Really? You're gonna stop at the stop sign? How dare
You
you?
can't obey the laws of traffic, nerd.
Speaking of obeying the laws of traffic, that was a really good segue, Kyle, because last week, as I was driving to a local eatery, um, some dude cut me off. He decided that
Hmm.
he decided that he wanted to be in the lane that I was in, and he wanted to be in my bumper.
Yeah.
And he
Want to
decided.
be in your lane as immediately as possible.
Correct, correct. He did not want to turn on a turn signal, and he wanted in. Not that I let him in, but it was one of those like I'm not going to sacrifice the car. You know what I mean? So like he just
Right.
he came over, and then as we're
Gotcha.
driving, we both turn right, and as we're driving down the road, like he's like honking and like trying to get us to like turn, roll down the window or whatever. I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. Carol said maybe he just wants to apologize. To which I would kind of respond like, I don't need your apology. Like I don't want that. Like you're not a good
Right.
driver. I don't need you to apologize, right? So I want your
Right.
opinion. I want your opinions on this. I did a bit of research as I do, and thinking about that scenario and that situation, and I came across this idea called the idiot driver reflex. Have you heard about this?
No.
Yeah, so this actually comes from one of those big think videos. Have you ever seen? I know you've seen those because you send
Yeah.
a couple, like we've sent those back and forth a couple times. And actually, this
Right.
is a fairly recent one. The expert, if you will, because they're kind of like all driven by experts. She's talking about the idiot driver reflex, and this totally is exactly like where I am and where I was. And
Right.
the idiot driver reflex is essentially this: like we as individuals tend to understand our behavior as a product of circumstance. So like I'm late to a thing, and because I'm late because my alarm didn't go off, and my kid's being difficult, and the coffee maker isn't working right, so I have to speed to get to the coffee shop to get to the meeting. And so I'm driving erratically because I'm tying my tie at the same time, and like I'm cutting people off, and I don't mean to, but I can justify that because like my scenario, my situation is I'm late, and it's not my fault. I'm
Right.
late, and it's not my fault. I'm a bad driver. All of these things might be true in terms of our own experience, but when applied to other people, we look at those people and like, man, that person's just a terrible driver.
Right.
That person, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to drive. They're not using their turn signal. We justify this by saying like I usually don't drive this way, so it's fine that I can drive this way now. I'm not a bad driver, and I'm not a bad person because
Right.
of it. But when it comes to other people, we're almost always unwilling to extend that kind of thinking toward them. Thoughts?
I 1,000% know what you're talking about, and I think everybody that is like your initial go to is, wow, that idiot, or that person's just extremely rude, or what have you. But then when you do the same thing, it's easily justified because you have the full set of context. And I don't know. For me personally, at some point in time, I got to the point where, like, I guess I just kind of came to that realization of just about any one of us, if we were put in the exact same situation as another person, having the same experiences and depth of knowledge that they have, we would more than likely come to the same conclusion that they did. And I think I generally kind of go that route with it of trying to always put things in the other person's perspective of, why did you do that? Why would you make that choice? Why would you make that decision? And it's almost kind of a foolhardy experiment to try to figure out from your perspective why they would do it. You kind of have to, more or less just kind of come to the conclusion that, like, there's a reason why they did that made sense to them.
Like I think it goes one of two ways. First of all, like I think like being angry in that scenario, it just makes sense. Like that's a genuine human like why are you cutting me off? At least this is myself. This is myself talking to myself. Like in that
Right.
scenario, like okay, this dude's cut me off. I'm angry he's cut me off. But if I take a second and I think about like maybe that why did he do that? I don't want to like justify, oh, that guy did that because, and I say that because like it's easy to get into that guy is a terrible driver. He did that because he's a terrible, terrible human.
Right.
And I gotta believe like that's not true. In the moment, I'm like, nope, that guy's terrible. But after thinking about it, it could be that guy has a kid in tow and the kid's, yelling in the back seat and that guy's frustrated and he's just trying to get home so he can get the kid out of the car. I don't know, some scenario like that. But it's way easier to be like, no, that guy's just a terrible person.
Yeah. I know for me, but if I come to that conclusion, that's going to keep me seated in my anger.
Exactly.
And I'm so uncomfortable in that sense. So I probably try to overly justify the situation, and come up with those type scenarios just so that I can release my frustration and anger with the situation. So I think it's absolutely just for me personally, like a coping mechanism kind of a thing to get me out of this uncomfortable state.
That's what I'm starting to think about in terms of what good is it to hang on to that anger. Like, wow,
Yeah.
this guy cut me off and what a jerk and everything. So I think like in that experiment or that thought experiment, the fun part of that is how do we react to those scenarios? And again, like I think being angry in the moment is fine. I think like most people be like, God, flip the bird or yell at them, obscenities or whatever. But if we hold on to that anger of that scenario, that person's never going to know that you're angry at them. They're never going to know that you yell at them and curse them out and whatever. So for you, like ultimately what you're doing is you're the one who's holding on to that anger.
Right.
Then the anger becomes directed at inwardly, like at ourselves.
Yeah. Because, like, again, if you put yourself in that scenario, the time that you cut somebody off or whatever, like, yeah, you might have felt bad in the moment of like, man, I totally just cut that guy off. But at the same time, that always almost comes with like this like sense of like, yeah, but I got away with it. So
Right.
there's like this kind of relief kind of sensation that comes along. Rarely ever are you in that scenario and you just feel so bad and you feel so compelled to like, apologize or whatever. But I think the more interesting thing too, for a stranger, for somebody that you don't know to run into that situation is one thing. And perhaps it is just easier to like forget it and forget kind of a thing. But when you see it happen and then you realize that it's somebody that
Right.
like
Yeah.
makes it
Are you reading my
makes it
notes?
completely.
You're reading my notes, aren't you?
Well, no, because like I had a similar thing happen like a week ago, last week sometime, where I was in a parking lot and I was following the directions of the parking lot to go and get a space. And as I'm going down the lane, somebody comes in the lane the opposite direction and takes the spot that I was going after. And when I get up to the spot, luckily a spot opens up right behind it. So I was able to back into a spot and still be relatively where I was, aiming to be at. And when the car that cut me off, that, absolutely knew that they were doing the wrong thing, was going up the lane in the wrong direction, and then did like a quick whip around and pulled into the spot. Person gets out of the vehicle and it's somebody that I work with. And
Oh.
so, then it just kind of becomes like a similar thing, kind of a similar situation of like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? And like, and I started thinking about it from his perspective of like, he probably assumed he didn't know the car and he's just trying to get the better spot. And he saw an opportunity and he took it and probably didn't think anything about it. And I think in most situations, if that would have happened to me, I would have been like really frustrated and really upset and had to kind of like more or less convince myself out of my anger. And then, but in this situation, knowing that it was somebody that I knew, it actually became more difficult to do that
Yeah.
because it was like, wow, like this is somebody that I know and would have thought, yeah, you play by the rules, you do things the right way, kind of a thing. So to like see you take advantage was like really surprising to me.
Let me ask you this. Is this a person like you just work with, or like you could have a conversation with like, hey, what you did there was kind of a douchey thing to do.
There are very few people that I feel confident enough to have that conversation with.
I believe
So
that.
it is absolutely somebody that I work with, but it's nothing that I would ever have a conversation with them about it. To be fair, though, the person did. noticed that it was me.
That was my next
And once
question.
we got into work,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
once we did get into work, he actually did apologize for it.
Yeah,
I was still like, honestly, in the moment, I was still quite frustrated.
right.
And I just kind of was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, you still did it, but
Yeah.
whatever. I still got a decent parking spot. I'm not, it didn't burn me up all day or anything.
I literally had that exact same scenario. I'm pulling into a spot at work and somebody kind of like cuts me off and like then park. And it wasn't like like I literally parked right next to him. Like it wasn't like you got a better spot than me. Like that's not a thing. It's a small parking lot. But I got out of the car and because I know that person, I was like, hey, like that was kind of a dick move. I don't think I said it that way. I was like, hey, that was kind of you know, like you just cut me off. And they were like, oh,
Right.
and did not feel bad about it at all. I was like, you know,
Well,
wow.
bummer.
Yeah, that's kind of what they said. They were like, oh, yeah, okay. They didn't even apologize. I'm like, I thought, so my response was, I thought better of you. I'm sorry that I was mistaken. And
Yeah.
immediately that like changed the scenario. And after I said that, they paused and I could see the wheels turning and they paused and they went,
Right.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. And I was like, but you did. Like,
Yeah.
had it not been me, had I not known you, had I not said anything to you, you wouldn't have even addressed it.
Right. You saw nothing wrong with what you did.
Right.
You just played out the events as you normally would have.
Right. But I think that I'm landing on, in the scenario that I brought up initially, that kind of thing would have like stewed. Like I would have stewed over that. Like that asshole, like he cut me off. I can't believe it. Like that's gonna not ruin my day, but like that's gonna ruin my next like half hour. I'm just gonna like think about
Right.
that and be like, oh my God, these people are just terrible drivers, horrible people here.
Yeah.
What I have in my notes is let that shit go.
Yeah.
And I looked at Carol and I said, like, I don't need his apology. Like I'm over it. It's done. The thing happened. We're done. We're moving on. Like just let that shit go.
Right.
What good is that judgment anyway? Because again, in the scenario that I brought up, like I think it's different in the like you knew that person and I knew that person, but in the like you're never gonna see that person again. What good is that judgment? Like they're never gonna see that. You're never really gonna see that. Like ultimately it just makes it worse for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where I kind of came down on most of those things of if it's somebody that I don't know, like there's no interaction, there's nothing that I can do that's gonna one, change the event, or two, make me feel better about it happening.
Right.
The only thing I can really do is just release it and just be done with it, and not worry about it.
Right.
Because if you do hang on to it, like you're either going to be more aggressive, and maybe it alters the way that you drive home, or it's going to affect the way that you interact with your friends and family because you're being pissed off about a thing that really doesn't matter.
Right.
When it's somebody that I think it's the only thing that really kind of changes for me in that aspect is like I just now am always going to attribute that action to that person,
Yes.
and it absolutely does affect the way that I'm going to think about you now.
So that's why I say, like, if you know that person, it's almost better to deal with it right then. Like, get out of the car and be like, dude,
Sure.
like, you cut me off.
I think my difference in about it is though is like just for me personally,
Yeah.
I'm still not going to address it really
You don't want the
because it's
confrontation.
still just well, I never do, but
Right.
it's also just it was an issue in a parking lot. I don't really know that it deserves a. That's kind of shitty for you to do that. But to me, it's also just like the idea of like I know that you did that, and so that's just now a character trait that I'm going to apply to you,
Yeah.
and so it affects the way that I view you.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like there are so few people that I would actually want to have the conversation with to be like, hey, what you did there was either rude or inconsiderate or whatever. I just wanted to let you know that I noticed it or whatever. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
are so few people that I would be that invested in to want them to even be aware of it. And that would strictly just to be to let you know that I noticed it.
Right. Oh,
Not that I
yeah.
want you
Yeah.
to feel bad about it. Not that I want you to apologize or anything like that, but
Someone
just that
noticed
I
your
saw it
thing.
and I noticed it
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm now aware of it,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Your ill did not go unnoticed. Someone noticed it, and that
Yeah,
that person was me.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's really interesting too, I'm just sitting here thinking about it like legitimately, like who would I say it to? I would certainly say it to my kids.
Sure.
And that honestly might be it, because for them specifically, just because I see my role with them as helping to form their moral character.
Right.
And so I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, say to them, hey, I noticed you did that. And I just want you to know that I noticed it. And, in any other scenario, though, even if it was something, if you did something, I would probably make a joke about it.
Right. I was just going to say that.
At the same time, just because we have such a close bond, maybe make a joke about it just to bring it up.
Right.
But certainly I don't think I would ever bring along with that any kind of a moral superiority over it, because it's because I respect you enough as a person to be you know what? Well, if he did it, I'm kind of okay with it.
Well, and I literally I thought about the same scenario. What if it was Kyle that did that thing? And I was like, I think what I would do is I would bring it up and I'd be like, hey, man, you're a real shitty driver. And then we would both laugh about it. Not because I actually think you're a shitty driver, but it's you did a thing and I'm gonna be funny about it versus I'm calling you out on the thing. Does that make sense? So
Yeah, it's still just minimally making it aware in the conversation.
and just being in jest or kind of hey, that's a thing. Did you mean to do that? And
Right.
knowing us more often than not, I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally cut you off because I wanted to. You know what I mean? Versus
Yeah.
oh, dude, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Hey, did you mean
I'm
to?
I didn't think you did. I didn't think you noticed, and I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Did you know? Oh yeah. No, I for sure cut you off, and I did it on purpose. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and you can kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, you got anything else?
No, I got a few more sips left, but no, this was a good one.
Well, Mike came and brought me a whole new beer, so I got half a sip left, or a half a beer left.
Oh, good.
I mean, I guess it could be half a sip depending on how long I want to sip that thing.
I've seen you take some big sips.
That is true. That was my nickname in college, Nick Big Sips.
Nick Big Sips. Big Sips, Nick.
Not Big Nips. That's different. Big Sips.
Big Nip's sick.
Well, we'd love to know, what do you think about Oktoberfest beer in general? We know we asked that a couple weeks ago, but it's still prime Oktoberfest beer time.
Yeah, enjoy those Oktoberfests. Pros to your buddies. It's that time of year.
Question, real quick. Is this the best time of beer year?
This is my favorite time of beer year, yeah.
Mine too. Carol's sitting next to me. You can't see her, she's off camera, but Carol's sitting next to me and she's shaking her head yes. It is the best time of beer.
Yeah, I can't think of a more satisfying time of year to just crush a beer.
Agreed.
And it's because the Oktoberfest is the king of beers. And how could you say that another time of year, when that's not even available, is the best time of beer year? That's absolute nonsense.
And if you said that, you'd be wrong and we would call you out on it.
Yeah, or at least make a joke so that you're aware that we know that you didn't consider Oktoberfest. That's dumb.
Exactly. We'd also love to know, what would you do in a scenario where someone cut you off in a parking lot or on your way to work?
Are you to that point of being able to just zen your way out of it and let it just roll off your back? Or do you sit there and fester in it and let it drive you crazy for way too long?
Absolutely. You can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
On social media, it's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us and see what we're socializing, and maybe socialize some things with us socially.
Nailed it. You can support the Drep and Stone podcast by rating us wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. You can support us financially through our Patreon page. And finally, Kyle.
Yeah, you could support us by giving us a high five at the Great American Beer Fest.
There it is.
In Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, we'll be there, next week.
Yeah, well, it's coming right up.
Yeah. On that note, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your Oktoberfest always show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.